Should there be balloons falling or something happening?
Yes. So, hey, Facebook, how's it going? This is Franz Borkart with the Geaux Rouge Show. We are streaming live. We are hanging out with some great businesses in the Moxie community today. If you are watching on Facebook Live, we're going to be starting the show shortly. If you are one of the guests and you are watching on Facebook Live, make sure that secondary device is on mute because it will reverb into the recording. Let's see. We're hanging out with Vicky from Talent 360, Bart from American Painting. We've got Brian Lodge from Red Truck Pressure Wash, Lindsey from Brian's Furniture. We've also got Charlie and Aimee. Amy's kind of a big deal, by the way, Charlie. I don't know if you know this or not. She's kind of a big deal. Both from that is the rumor. Both from Moxie and Partners One. So we are just chilling out. Hey guys, how's everybody doing?
We're doing awesome, buddy. Thanks for having us on the show today.
You guys,
we're all super excited. Thanks again for having us.
You guys need to go drink some coffee or something. Y'all are very low energy. This is going to be a long hour.
Oh, he just low energy you, Aimee. Oh, that's rough.
Low energy. You're low energy. So if you're watching on Facebook Live and you know some of these guys, do us a favor and share the Facebook Live video so we can get the message out. Our show is a Facebook live stream, but we also air on Talk 107.3 on Saturdays at noon. Sundays as well. I just don't know the time. It's probably like at 2 in the morning or something. I don't know. So yeah, how's life?
Life is good. We're thawing out, and yeah, it's super exciting to see everybody here. And some of these people are some of my favorite. Excuse me, some of my favorite members to work with, to promote, to be friends with. I'm really excited to be here. Sorry, my voice.
It's okay. So I got in trouble.
Charlie, right on cue, the voice fails whenever you need it, Aimee.
So I got in trouble. One of the major sponsors of our show is La Divina Italian Cafe. And they were like, "You're doing a Moxie show, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they were like, you know we're in the network, right?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And they were like, "Why aren't we on the show?"
Yeah,
it's okay. It's my fault, Aimee. Not your fault. My fault.
No, we need to give them tons of love. They do breakfasts that are amazing. Yeah. You bring your pup, they'll take care of your dog. They have got like pup gelato.
I am actually joking. Mary, who does the marketing, one of the co-owners, Mary actually does not like being on radio. Even though she's been in the industry, she's been in the media industry for years. And so I offered to get them on and they were just like, "No, we're good." So it's all good. It's all good. So anyways, we're just waiting for Brian Haldane to join in with us. And when Brian does that, we'll start the radio show. So I missed the ice storm. I missed it. I was in Florida for the ice storm.
Were you in Cancun with Ted Cruz?
Say again?
Were you in Cancun with Ted Cruz? Where were you?
I was in Disney for a bar conference, a Louisiana State Bar Association conference.
Very cool.
I missed it. So I was not in Cancun. Although I will say, shout out to my neighbors. When I was driving back from Orlando, I got a call from my neighbor that my backyard was flooding. And they were like, "Do you want us to turn the water off?" And I'm like, "Yeah, please do that." And the neighbor was like, "Well, my husband can fix that, the busted pipe under your house." And I'm like, "Really?" And they were like, "Yeah." And so he fixed it before I even got home. Wow. So that's a good neighbor, right?
Those are really good neighbors.
Yeah. That is the quality of Baton Rouge for you right there. Awesome neighbors looking out for each other. Absolutely.
So let me text Brian. He may just be running a few minutes. So. Yeah, so no busted pipes. My plants are dead. A lot of my plants are dead. No fallen trees, thank God. Yeah. I'm not even sure I lost power while it was gone, but I wasn't here, so I don't really know.
How was Disney?
Oh, it was nice. It was actually, if you've been to Trader Joe's and the cleanliness and OCD they have going on right there, it is surprisingly safe. You have to wear a mask. If you don't wear a mask, you're asked to leave the parks. The food game is totally different than it normally is. There's social distancing. They're 6 feet apart in every line. So the lines snake all over the place because it's 6 feet apart. There's no fast passes anymore. But it was nice. It was very nice. The weather was 70s. But walking around a theme park 5 to 6 miles a day was in a mask was unpleasant. But it was a good experience. Overall, it was a good experience.
Yeah, that company, they do lines right. I mean, if anybody should be figuring out how we do distribution of shots and vaccines, it's Disney. Either Disney or Chick-fil-A, one of those two.
The science of how they move people is fascinating to me. And you don't notice it until you're in the line, and then you're like, wait a minute, and you're moving all over the place. The food there was decent. Disney is kind of a food for the masses place. So yeah, it was nice. So if you're just now tuning in
for 2 years.
Wait. You worked at Disney? Was it Disneyland?
I worked on Disney cruise ships for 2 years and Disneyland or Disney World for 2 years. So next time you go out there, I know some really cool spots that you would never think about to get some pretty awesome things that next time you go, give me a call and I'll give you some tips and tricks of an insider.
It does not surprise me that Aimee worked for Disney. It does not surprise me. Also, incredibly good customer service. Like, they could be on fire and they're like, can we do something to make your stay more enjoyable? I mean, it's interesting.
All right, so my takeaway from that is if I go to Disney, call Aimee, but if not, just go hang out at Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's is very safe.
Slightly less and be just as amazing.
I'm a fan of Trader Joe's, which is also near La Divina Italian Cafe. Great plants. I'm a plant guy. They have great plants at Trader Joe's. Great plants. Do we have any Moxie folks that sell plants?
We do. We've got, let's see, we've got, Billy Harriman's, of course, the Harriman family, they do great plants. We also have a company that does, that actually comes by and takes care of your plants. And for some reason, I can't think of it off the top of my head. If anybody else can remember, have it ring in or,
So that is next level to me. That is next level. Like, I get the plants and then I pay somebody to love the plants for me so that I just enjoy the plants. I love the plants too. I enjoy the plants too. I love the plants too, but I don't feed them because the problem with my love of plants is that I love them too much. I give them too much water and then bad things happen. So Brian Haldane has joined us. As soon as Brian tells us we can jumpstart, we'll go on and start our episode. We're hanging out with the crew from Moxie, as well as some great local Baton Rouge businesses that are part of the Moxie community. We thought it'd be fun. We thought it'd be fun just to showcase them. The Geaux Rouge Show celebrates people doing cool stuff in Baton Rouge. I have heard good things about all of y'all's businesses. Not to single anybody out, but I'm really interested in hearing the red truck pressure wash story. But I'm also interested in hearing from Bart from American Printing. I'm also interested in hearing from Vicky from Talent 360 and Lindsey from Brian's Furniture. So Brian is telling me he's ready to roll. I'll do a countdown and we'll start the episode. I'm going to mute everybody if that's okay. I have power. I can mute everybody. It's great. So everybody is now muted. So if you want to talk, you have to unmute yourself, right? You guys have been on Zoom during the pandemic. You know how it works. We'll count down 5, 4. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Geaux Rouge Radio Show. This is episode 65. This is your host, Franz Borchardt. If you're listening on Facebook Live or you're listening on Talk 107.3, welcome to the show. We've got a great show this week. Again, episode 65. We've invited the Moxie community to come join us and some businesses that are local that participate in Moxie. We thought we'd do something a little different this week and talk about something that I think is really cool and a great way for you to connect with other businesses and kind of do something a little bit different. But before we jump into all that, let's thank our show sponsors. These are the businesses and folks that make the Geaux Rouge Show possible. Our first sponsor this week is Gulf Coast Title. They're excellent title company. I've used them. Amazing. NAI, Ladder and Bloom, Commercial Realtors. Smith Shanklin Sosa Personal Injury Law Firm. They are your go-to personal injury lawyers. I'm going to try to get the girls on in the near future. They are doing some podcasting and vlogs. I'll use the word vlogs that are incorporating some legal education. I definitely want to get them on the show. Sullivan Steakhouse, your local neighborhood steak restaurant. The Borghardt Law Firm, that's my lemonade stand. We do criminal defense work. Definitely if you have criminal defense needs, which I hope you don't need criminal defense attorneys, but if you do need a criminal defense attorney, definitely give us a call. And then last but not least, one of the Moxie businesses, La Divina Italian Cafe, open every day with your custom made from scratch breakfast. And wait, not last but not least, I totally almost forgot, Dr. G, Dr. Gunjan Raina, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago with MDVIP, Heal 360. She is my new doctor. Love her to death. It is concierge medical services. You definitely want to give it a whirl. It has changed my health game. Dr. G is amazing. You can find her at www.mdvip.com/doctors/Gunja Reina MD. So for more information about the Geaux Rouge Show, go to www.geauxrouge.com. And if you have a show topic you'd like us to talk about, a business or person you'd like us to showcase, or just somebody doing something cool in Baton Rouge, email me at info@geauxrouge.com. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome in Charlie and Aimee from Moxie and Partners One. Guys, unmute yourselves. Welcome to the Geaux Rouge Radio Show. So glad you could join me this week. How's it going?
Hey,
Great.
Franz.
Thanks so
Thanks for
much
having
for
us, buddy.
having
We are
us.
ecstatic to be on your show finally.
Awesome. So listen, I'll start with Charlie. Charlie, what is Moxie?
Moxie is the best way for local businesses to get new customers and better cash flow.
Okay.
In a nutshell,
Tell me more.
We help companies thrive.
Okay. So if I'm a local business, and by the way, I got no dog in this hunt. Aimee's been recruiting me to get involved, and I'm she's got the fishing hook out.
I'm getting close.
Getting close.
The truth is you have to be approved to join Partners One, our Baton Rouge community, our Baton Rouge Moxie community. So you better be nicer to Aimee. Make sure she lets you in the club.
That's true. So tell me how it works. If I'm a local business, let's say I'm Brian Lodge with Red Truck Pressure Wash, who I hear is an amazing guy. Let's say I'm Brian and I want to join Moxie. How does it work?
Yeah. So if you're a Brian, one of the best pressure washers in the area, and you're looking for new customers, by joining a Moxie community, you have an immediate pool. Believe it or not, there's about 1,000 businesses in the greater Baton Rouge area who already participate in Moxie, in one of our 4 communities. So the second then Brian joins the network, there's 1,000 businesses plus their owners and their employees and their spouses who, if they need pressure washing, are going to know to give Brian a call before they think of somebody else. And so the power of Moxie is really the power of community. It's local businesses supporting each other, buying from each other. We do that using Moxie dollars instead of traditional money. So a Moxie dollar is just the same as a US dollar. We just use it as a tool to keep track of the goods and services as they flow through the network.
So if I'm a Moxie business and I have Moxie money, Moxie dollars, I could walk into another Moxie business like La Divina Italian Cafe, who's a sponsor of the Geaux Rouge Show. And let's say theoretically, I wanted to buy massive amounts of coffee for an event I was hosting. I could use my Moxie money to buy that coffee, correct?
Absolutely. So the purpose behind Moxie is La Divina is an incredible restaurant, one of my favorite coffee places, right?
I've seen you there.
Yeah, you see me there a time or two, right? They need new customers, right? Most restaurants in the world sometimes have empty tables or they have excess capacity in their catering division. So by joining Moxie, the owners there are able to recruit new business, new customers they otherwise wouldn't have had. So once they take those Moxie dollars they've earned, they go back out into the community and they buy something else. They might pay for a vacation. They might have their hoods cleaned at their restaurant. They might have some pressure washing done. They might have some menus printed with Bart. There's literally 1,000 different businesses they could spend their Moxie dollars with. But what Moxie does is it accelerates the economic activity inside of a community. So as trade happens and the frequency increases, everyone is getting slightly wealthier and happier. And it's just good for the whole.
I like getting wealthier and happier. Who doesn't? So before I turn it over to Aimee, last question. What is the criteria? Like, what businesses may be a good fit for Moxie? Or is it every business might be a good fit?
Every business is not a good fit for Moxie.
Okay.
We have high standards. We're not going to let businesses that are doing anything illegal join. We're not going to let businesses who are doing anything sketchy join. We want the best of the best. We want, when you go to Bart's to print your menus, to feel like you're going to one of the best printers, in Baton Rouge. We want you to be proud. When you pull your Moxie card out of your wallet, you ought to feel like you're pulling out American Express Black Card. There's a privilege to being a member. We want everybody in the membership to feel good about it. So we're mostly local companies. We're not hospitals, but we are local doctors, and so we're a lot of service repair people, but we're also lots of goods. You would be hard pressed to think of a local business that's not somewhere represented inside the Moxie community.
So quality control. And if you are a business doing shady or illegal stuff, which of course we don't want you to do, then make sure you call the Borkart Law Firm, www.borkartlawfirm.com. Shameless.
You should join one of two firms, right? Either yours or ours. I get it. Pick one or the other.
So I'm going to turn it over to Aimee. And by the way, I've got to say this, Charlie, she's a very modest and humble person. Aimee has been doing, during the course of the pandemic, Aimee has been working with others to do some great community promotion of businesses. Front Porch Project also comes to mind. I definitely appreciate everything you've been doing, Aimee, which has nothing to do with Moxie, but just has everything to do with making Baton Rouge the kind of place we all want to be. So I'm going to thank Aimee with this kind of introduction. Aimee, you got some, stepping to do. Aimee, talk to me a little bit, Aimee. Welcome to the show, Aimee. Talk to me a little bit about the businesses we have today on the show represented throughout the community that are in the Moxie community.
Awesome. Well, other than just introducing them as businesses, the thing that I love about Moxie is that we are a community. So not only I would consider these people business owners that are my clients, but also personal friends of mine that I love spending time with in and outside of business. And that's one of the beautiful things about what we do is we actually create community. So starting off the list, we've got Vicky Vasiliauskas, Little with Talent 360. Then we have Bart Zimmerman, owner of American Printing Center. Then we have Brian Lodge with Red Truck Pressure Wash. And then Lindsey Fourroux with Brian's Furniture and the Mailbox Guy.
Awesome. So look, if you're watching on Facebook Live, I'll just say you might not be able to see Vicky from Talent 360, but she is in fact here. You definitely will hear her, but I'm saying this, but just because it might be a little, if you're doing the math, you're like, well, wait, where's Vicky? She's here. So I'm going to suggest, because I'm noticing, Aimee, I'm going to suggest we start with Lindsey, because I'm noticing that Lindsey is actually on her showroom floor at Brian's Furniture. So in case there's a flood of potential customers, I'm going to suggest we start there first. So if she needs to leave early, she can. So introduce us to Lindsey, and then Lindsey, I want you to tell us a little bit about you and your experiences with Moxie.
Well, we've got Lindsey Fourroux. She is the owner of Brian's Furniture and the Mailbox Guy. Not only has this company been with us with Moxie West Side over in across the river from Baton Rouge, she has now made such a difference with her business and Moxie, and how Moxie makes a difference in her business, that she is also now the newly minted executive director of Moxie West Side, promoting what we do in her area as well.
Well, welcome to the show, Lindsey. Talk to me a little bit about Brian's Furniture. What is it? I'm noticing some sports memorabilia in the background. There's awesome looking furniture. Talk to me about what Brian's Furniture is.
So we are a family-owned business. My dad is Brian. My brother and I have taken over the family business now, but our dad started this business 40 years ago. This is actually our 40th anniversary this year. And we started off with just indoor furniture, and over the years have diversified. We sell outdoor furniture, we sell mailboxes, sugar kettles. We have a very unique showroom, lots of art like you can see. And so we were approached about joining Moxie some years ago, and it's really, really been a great benefit for our business, and we've really thrived with the network.
So, Lindsey, where are you guys located? And if I wanted to get more information about Brian's furniture, good thing you pointed out that your dad was Brian, because I was like, you don't look like a Brian. I mean, it's 2021, and I'm not supposed to ask any questions, but I'm just saying. So, if I wanted to get more information on the furniture store, and then also where are you located?
Yeah, so we take up an entire city block in Port Allen, so just on the other side of the bridge. Yeah. We've got a huge showroom. We've got a really great website. It's briansfurniture.com. So you can shop there anytime, but we are here, and we've got a really, really great selection of items to see. Come when you've got plenty of time, because there's a lot to see. So
last question before I turn it over to Vicky from Talent 360. Talk to me a little bit about your adventures or experiences with Moxie in terms of getting potential clients, using the Moxie money, because that's the thing I'm really most curious. As a potential Moxie law firm or a potential Moxie social media radio show, I'm interested in the Moxie money, right? How do I barter? How do I spend? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're probably like most people in that when we first signed up initially, we weren't really sure what to expect. To be honest, we were a little bit skeptical. We had heard of Partners One for so long, and just weren't sure how it could benefit us. And so we kind of took the leap, and it's kind of a mentality, is the way that I think of it. Before I take out a credit card, I'm going to say first, how can I spend Moxie instead? So we've formed great relationships. Mr. Bart Zimmerman's here. We do all of our printing through American Printing. That is something that, as a business owner, who doesn't need business cards, who doesn't need, things printed, menus if you're a restaurant. We use handwritten invoices and quote sheets. So there are expenses that you have in your business that can always be converted to trade. And so it's kind of that mentality of, how can I convert these cash dollars to Moxie dollars? And so marketing materials, we've converted all of our employees wear Brian's Furniture t-shirts and hats. We won't pay cash for those. We will only spend trade Moxie dollars on those. So once you have that mindset and are able to kind of convert those dollars over, you're keeping cash in your pocket. You're able to reinvest that money into your business. So I don't see why there's any way a business couldn't benefit from it.
I like it. So before we close out for the first segment, we got a little bit of time. We're going to introduce Vicky from Talent 360. How are you?
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. So what is Talent 360?
Yeah, so I actually, this is my second company to start. So Talent 360, I was with AT&T Tech for almost 20 years. And I actually started a company 3 years ago, walked away from AT&T after 20 years, started a commercial laundry company, very successful. And as of COVID, as we all know, my laundry plant service the hotel industry in New Orleans, have several big properties there. As we all know, New Orleans has not rebounded yet. And so that plant is stabilized, but not as busy. So I decided to pivot, as everybody else did, and go ahead and kick off my second company. I wrote 3 performas for 3 companies, and this is Talent 360. And so Talent 360 advises small business on online presence. So when I walked away from tech, coming back to it 3 years later, I just found that a lot of small businesses really don't understand how much out there is free for them. So I walk in give them advisement on what's not been done so far that they can do for free that's out there for them, and then try to stabilize their presence at that point. And then we talk about bringing people to the party afterwards. So it's kind of having that business owner step back for a minute, kind of analyze what's out there. And I'll have to say, 10 out of 10 times, the business owners that I have, they had no idea, of what kind of impact out there organically online they could make.
So I have, in developing the Geaux Rouge brand, I have had to learn, and by the way, guys, I'm a criminal defense attorney. So I know very little. I knew very little about social media and social media presence, but I had to learn it the hard way. And I've employed it into the radio show and into my law practice. But business owners aren't trying to learn new tricks. They're trying to run a successful business. So I imagine this service you offer is very, very helpful. Talk to me a little bit about the Moxie businesses in the community that you've been able to help, and how that's kind of translated back to you and your successes.
Yeah, so since I started the company, I had about 15 businesses started. I've grown it to 47 now in the last 6 months. And I would have to say 7 or 8 of those are Moxie, that came from Partners One or Moxie, and have been able to make an impact. So, going in as Talent 360, to your point, business owners really don't know. I mean, they're trying to run their business, right? So honestly, I've had people like Janicare, Causey Med, Hightower Dental actually hire me to be their marketing director for their company, because they don't have time to do that, and kind of taken over their social media platforms for them. I've created very creative videos. I bring fresh things to them every month, and been able to kind of say, hey, let me kind of lift that off of your shoulders. Let me show you exactly what we're going to do for free first, okay? And then after we stabilize you, I will bring the party to you. And so what has happened with Partners One Moxie is these actual companies have not only said, Vicky, we need you to stabilize and find all the free stuff that we can do. They've actually hired me on as their marketing director. Like they send people to me to actually give advisement.
So I hope all the other businesses that are on the show today are listening to you, Vicky. And I don't know if they've utilized your services or not, but put that in the back of your brains, guys. We are running up about 4 minutes left in this segment. Vicky, if people want to get more information about Talent 360, where would they go?
So they can email me, huffvicky@yahoo.com, or they can just simply text me or call me. My number is 225-614-1326. And like I said, Franz, it's really about having them step back for a moment. A lot of them have spent a lot of money trying to get the party to come to them. And it's really about stepping them back for a minute and saying, hey, let's kind of back up and punt for a minute and maximize the free first.
Right. So if you're tuning into the Geaux Rouge Show, we are hanging out with businesses that are a part of the Moxie community. We've been chatting with Brian's Furniture, Talent 360. Before we hit our first break, Aimee, I've got a question. If I'm a business and I'm curious about the different businesses that are in the community, how hard is it for me to find that out? Let's say I need somebody that does painting. Is it hard for me to do a search of the businesses, or is there an itemized index, or how would I do that?
So there's a couple ways that you could do it. You can call the office and ask for a referral. You can go on to your phone. We actually have an app that geolocates you where you are. You put in what you're looking for, you click a quick button, and it'll show you all the restaurants in the area that are close to where you are proximity wise. You can go to our directory. And all of our staff we're really hands-on. So I always like to say that people have Hey Aimee access to me. So if it's Friday night or Sunday morning and they have a pipe that breaks, they can just text me and say, hey Aimee, I need a plumber. And the cool thing about that is it's not like we call you and one plumber. I know 7 plumbers. I know who smells good, who shows up on time, who has a plumber's booty, who doesn't. I know all of their personality.
Booty.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was allowed to say but.
Too much
but anyway.
information. It's too much information.
So the point is, we can call you.
Yeah.
And then
we make you with somebody who's going to be a good fit for what you need.
Awesome. So we're about to take our first break, guys. If you're listening, this is the Geaux Rouge Radio Show for those on Facebook Live, for those on Talk 107.3. Thank you for tuning in. If you have questions, you can pop a question into the Facebook Live chat. Also, feel free to share us. For more information about the Geaux Rouge Show, go to www.geauxrouge.com. If you're listening on Facebook Live, when we take our break, don't go anywhere. That's when we have the fun. We have the show within the show. Amy's going to talk more about plumbers' booties. Probably not. That won't happen. But this is Franz Borchardt, your host of the Geaux Rouge Show. We're going to take our first break, and we will be right back. This is where we wait for Brian to tell us it's clear, and we can talk a little bit. He hasn't said anything, so I think we're okay. Okay, so look. My question becomes this, because if I'm listening to this show, I've got to ask, so is there a rating system? So, okay, if I'm a Moxie community business, let's say there's 5 law firms in the Moxie showcase of community. Is there a feedback or rating system or some way that I can let, if I'm a business, let's say I'm Lindsey and I'm using Franz or another law firm, is there a way I can give feedback so that I can both award good services and then also scare people away from like plumbers' butts?
I would say that, truly the biggest and the best tool for that is just to go online and do a Facebook post. Sorry, not a Facebook post, but like a Facebook, what's it called? A review or Google review.
Right.
Because that not only, or Yelp, that takes care not only the people in the Moxie community, but people at large as well. We always want to give credit where credit's due. In addition to that, then we just ask all of our members, if you have a great experience, let us know. If you have not a great experience, let us know, so then we can also take that into consideration when we're matchmaking people and referring businesses to one another.
So, because Brian told me I went to break early, we're gonna give Brian a pause for a second, and then when Brian says we can talk again, we'll talk again. Criminal defense attorney, horrible radio show host.
No, you're not. You're so crazy. This is fun.
Yeah, this is why. By the way, if you ever wonder why do you host your own radio show, it's fun. I get to meet new people. I get to hang out. Look, I've never been to Brian's Furniture before, but maybe, All right.
Listen, you really want to go.
We'll have to fix that.
Yeah.
I know. By the way, Lindsey, my taste in furniture is suspect.
Well, that's why we're here.
So, but I would imagine also the other side of the coin is, I would imagine what happens is if you use, let's say you use Bart, you're a commercial business and you use Bart once, you're going to probably, Bart does a good job, you're going to use Bart again and again and again. And then in fact, it's probably like my industry of, so people don't tend to hang out, Bart, believe it or not, people don't tend to hang out with criminal defense attorneys. It's not like, hey, let's go to Sullivan's and get a knockout cocktail with a criminal defense attorney. It's happened, but it doesn't happen often. But what does happen is somebody gets in trouble or they need a service and they're like, hey, do you know any good plumbers or you know any good criminal defense attorneys? And most of my business is word of mouth referral. Yes, I have Google reviews. I'm not going to brag or anything. I'm not going to brag or anything, Charlie, but it's perfect Google reviews. It's huge. But it's mostly word of mouth, and it's the same. I would imagine with Moxie and you guys, it becomes that way. Like, hey man, Brian Lodge does really good pressure washing. You need to use Brian. He's your go-to pressure washer guy. Good service begets more service. So if you're tuning in on Facebook Live, we're hanging out with the Moxie community. We've got Charlie and Aimee from Moxie and Partners One. We also have Brian Lodge, Bart Zimmerman. We have Lindsey, and we have Vicky. I think Vicky left because of the internet issues. No problem, no harm, no foul. There was a big ice storm, I hear, this last week, and that caused some outages with different internet providers. Do we have any Moxie internet providers? No,
We do.
unfortunately not. Oh, we do.
We do.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
There is always a way for you to find ways to save cash and spend Moxie instead.
I like it. So I will ask, since we're on the break, I do want to ask, so a lot of money, and this is a question I've always been curious about. A lot of times with running a small business, I'm an entrepreneur. I run a small business. Sometimes I have to finance things. Sometimes I have to use credit until I can pay that credit off. Is that an option with Moxie money? Can I finance or use credit, and then when I get business in, pay that off? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big part of what we do is helping businesses better finance and have cheaper and better access to capital. In fact, Bart, didn't you use that when you were expanding one of your locations?
Exactly. We bought a new building 5 years ago, and we renovated the building before we moved in. So we went to Brian's Furniture, bought a very nice table, and we bought a rug from a rug store and a very nice chandelier from another business, and really renovated the business and made it what we wanted before we moved in. So that was exactly what we did, and you're able to basically get an interest-free loan in Moxie dollars.
Cool.
And then pay it back as you can. And obviously that's what they do behind the scenes of determining how much credit line a different business can have. But you're able to go out and purchase
Very
the
nice.
items you need when you need them and pay it back when you can.
So I had always wondered that. And that makes perfect sense to me. So with that being said, I'm curious. So Bart, your American print, I said painting earlier, printing. Sorry. I'll make it up to you on the next segment. American printing. So I would imagine you have, and we'll talk about this in the segment, I would imagine that everybody needs printing. Everybody needs printing. Like everybody needs printing. I use ridiculous amounts of printing. Business cards, letterhead, you name it, weird stuff that I sometimes design just to have.
Ron, just think of the cash you're wasting when you could be spending Moxie dollars.
It's like I'm setting it on fire.
Could have gone to Disney World twice by now.
Oh, stop. Don't give anybody any ideas. So I am reading, and Bart, I am sorry, I did say painting. So I will make it, like I said, I'll never make that mistake again. It's printing, American printing. Fallible, imperfect. Okay, so we're going to count it off. We're going to join our second segment. And look, Lindsey, stick around. If you want to play a little bit too, we're going to have some extra time on the back half. We're going to come back. I'll reintroduce everybody. We'll do the 2-minute intro, reintroduce everybody, and then we will jump into celebrating Brian and Bart, American Printing, Red Truck Pressure Washing. We will count down 5, 4. All right, welcome back to the Geaux Rouge Radio Show. If you're tuning in on Facebook Live or on Talk 107.3, this is your host, Franz Borkhardt. We are on episode 65. When I hit episode 75, I get a set of steak knives. That's not true. That's not true at all. You are tuning in, and we are showcasing the Moxie community and businesses that are connected. It has been a lot of fun. In our first segment, we talked to Lindsey from Brian's Furniture. We also talked to Vicky from Talent 360. We're also hanging out with Aimee and Charlie from Moxie and Partners One. But before we jump into the second segment, which I'm very excited, we're going to have Brian Lodge from Red Truck Pressure Wash and Bart Zimmerman from American Printing. I've heard great things about your printing company, Bart, so I'm very excited to chat with you a little bit about it. It's not a painting company, it's a printing company. Let's thank our show sponsors. These are the businesses and folks that make the Geaux Rouge Radio Show possible. First and foremost, Dr. Gunja Reyna. I call her Dr. G. from MDVIP, Concierge Medical Services, Heal 360. I'm actually going to see my doctor today. She helps me with my diet. She helps me with the other doctors that I see. It is awesome and amazing. 24-hour access. It is really, really cool. I highly recommend you use Dr. G. She has been a game changer for me. I have lost, for those listening out there, I have lost a ridiculous amount of weight just listening to this doctor. I'm in a weight loss competition with Brian Haldane, who is producing the show today. And I'll just say, Brian, I'm about halfway to the 50-pound goal. So Dr. G is definitely somebody you want to check out. We have La Divina Italian Cafe serving select wines, ice cold beer, plus their exclusive sorbet mimosa. La Divina Italian Cafe, by the way, is a Moxie business, so we give them a shout out today. The Borchardt Law Firm, that's my criminal defense firm. Sullivan's Steakhouse, your neighborhood community steak restaurant, serving knockouts at happy hour. It is one of the best happy hour cocktails in the city of Baton Rouge. I highly recommend it. Gulf Coast Title, NAI, Ladder and Bloom, commercial realtors. And last but not least, the Smith Shanklin Sosa personal injury law firm. These guys are amazing personal injury lawyers. They don't stand on trucks on billboards. They just get the job done. They're your go-to personal injury law firm. For more information about the Geaux Rouge radio show, go to www.geauxrouge.com. You can watch all our episodes on demand from the geauxrouge.com website. We're also on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. You can watch all the episodes on demand there too. But back to business. We've got Charlie Davis and Aimee Supp from Moxie. Lady and gentlemen, welcome back to the second segment. Aimee, we're going to kick things off with jumping into a conversation with another one of the Moxie businesses, Bart Zimmerman from American Printing. Bart, what's going on, bud?
Hey, how are y'all?
I'm doing great. Thank you for taking a little bit of time. Like myself, you look like you're streaming from your household. So I appreciate you taking a little bit of time to be on the Geaux Rouge radio show today. So talk to me a little bit about what is American Printing and what is your involvement with Moxie?
So we're a traditional print firm. So we do everything from business cards, letterhead, menus, and small format paper printing is our bread and butter. Do signs, banners, just about any kind of printing a business would need. So I have been in the Partners Moxie network for about 15 years now. Currently a board member, and I really believe in it and use it every chance I get.
So when you say board member, so you're actually a part of the organization that implements and runs it in the Baton Rouge community?
Correct.
Okay. So if I wanted to get more information, by the way, Bart, if I wanted to get more information about American Printing, where would I go?
We have a Facebook page, AM Print Center, American Printing, Baton Rouge. You can obviously call us, and we're a brick and mortar retail store. So we have an office on Jefferson Highway right by Bluebonnet. So having somebody come into our shop and be able to touch and feel the paper and see the samples of what we do is ideal for us. That's how we like to interact with a client, is on a face-to-face basis. So that's ideal. 9754 Jefferson Highway, right near the Bluebonnet intersection.
So at the break, we talked a little bit, Bart, about being able to use Moxie as a mechanism to finance, whether it's building a new space, whether it's just needing a line of credit to run a business. If you've run a business before, I don't want to spoil the surprise for non-entrepreneurs out there. Sometimes you gotta use credit. You gotta use money from other sources. Talk to me a little bit about, one, I already know the answer, but I want you to talk about it. One, can you do that? And two, what was your experience with it?
So Moxie does allow you to have an interest-free line of credit. So I don't know a bank that'll be able to promote that tagline, but when you have a need, and I bought a new building on Jefferson Highway 5 years ago, and we had to renovate it. We painted the entire building inside and out. So to hire a painter to come in and do that was a pretty large expense right there.
Right.
We bought new furniture for the office. Lindsey was able to help us with Brian's furniture, to make a space that was welcoming to our clients to come sit down and talk about what their project was. it's a homey feel of a kitchen table kind of feel, and nice rug, nice chandelier, the whole 9 yards in this little area that we like to sit down and consult with our clients. So we were able to do all of that through Moxie. And
of course, Lindsey, going back to you, being that it's a line of credit, you're getting, I guess you're getting the Moxie money, right? For the furniture. So you're not worrying about getting paid, correct?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, it's very easy flow. It's regular flow.
Okay. So talk to me. I would imagine, Bart, that being that printing is something that we need in our businesses on a daily basis, or, whatever. Talk to me a little bit about how you've been able to integrate in with other Moxie businesses to find success through that process.
So I work with several restaurants. Portobello's is one. La Divina, one of your sponsors. We do some printing of promotional cards for them. So they may use them at where they're out in the community, giving people a free latte or a free gelato or something like that. So we printed out these little cards for them to use as giveaways. But Portobello's is one of our big clients, and we print training manuals for their employees. We print menus, we print business cards, just about everything you can think of that they would need, Lent menus, or, so it's, we do a tremendous amount with them. They have 3 Portobello's locations, and then they have a restaurant in Denham, and they're opening a new one right down Perkins Road in the old Rum House. So it's, when you have that many restaurants, they're printing stuff almost, every other day with us.
So I've got to ask, before we turn it over to our last guest, Brian Lodge, I've got to ask, so in terms of payment, because I've wondered about this too, how would I pay, like, let's say I want to buy furniture and I've got some Moxie money in the account, so to speak, and I want to buy some furniture from Lindsey, Brian's Furniture, one of the best furniture places on the West Side. I like it. How does that work? Is it an electronic transaction? Do I have a Moxie credit card? Or what is it? Or a debit card? How does that work?
Well, so yes, you do have a credit card. It's just like a traditional Visa debit card, and you present that card and they run it through, you can run it online, through an app that they have, or if you're a big retail store, you'll have an actual credit card machine.
Okay.
So,
well, I appreciate, so Bart, I appreciate you taking time out of your day with American Printing. Definitely give American Printing a chance, a shot. And I like the fact, Bart, I'm going to use the word, I like the fact that you're hustling and doing big jobs, small jobs. That is the road to success, my friend. So congrats. Last but not least, Brian Lodge with Red Truck Pressure Washing. Brian, take yourself off mute. So I've heard, while Brian is taking himself off mute, Aimee, I've heard good things about Brian. I've heard good things about Brian. Not that I haven't heard good things about everybody else, but Brian, talk to me a little bit about your company, Red Truck Pressure Wash, and your Moxie experience, because I've heard you've had good experiences. Can you hear? Oh, you can't hear. It's okay. We'll kill some time.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
This is the world, Brian. This is the world we're living.
Business call coming in.
I get it, man. This is the world we're living in. For those who don't know, I record my show on a Zoom webinar cast so that all you great people don't have to come near me, and I don't have to come near you due to COVID-19. One day we'll go back to the radio studio. So, okay, talk to me about your company, Brian. Talk to me about the pressure washing business.
Yes. First, I would like to thank Aimee and Partners One. They have really opened up a brand new world to me, because when I was initially in this business for myself and alone, I felt alone. And when I joined the Partners One community along with Moxie, I instantly had thousands of partners. It didn't just feel like another business. It felt like we were all in this together and we're all trying to help each other out. And so that, for me, really gave me moral support, including the financial support as well. But the moral support is really great. And I would like to say thank you, Aimee, for all the support that you've shown me. I appreciate it.
So if I wanted to get more information, Brian, about your service, how would I get in touch with you?
Oh, it's quite simple. You can simply reach out to me at 225-571-1333, or you can email me at rtpresswash@gmail.com. Or a better way is just to go to the Moxie website. Go to partners, look me up there, and you'll definitely.
I was anticipating you potentially saying that. So let me ask you this. From a business standpoint, talk to me about the leads and referrals or clients that you got from Moxie over this. And by the way, Brian, how long have you been with Moxie?
I've been with Moxie about 3.5 years now, going on 4 years. December will make 4 years. Yeah.
Okay.
And now, as far as the leads through Moxie, I tell you the truth, it was amazing to me at first, because every customer that through Moxie, who called me to do their homes, one of their neighbors came over and asked me, "What you doing? How much would you charge me to do my home?" And every last time I received at least 2 sales out of that neighborhood from doing a Moxie job. So for me, it's 2 or 3-fold for what I receive in return for being a Moxie member. And all I have to do is do a great job. Other people see it, they come and ask me, or the Moxie member will refer me to someone else. And it works out great for me.
So I'm curious. I would imagine. So you're a pressure washing business. I would imagine
Yes.
your business is predominantly your mobile business, right? Talk to me
Yes.
about the businesses that you've utilized, not just the Moxie money, but the businesses you've used Moxie money with to help develop your business.
Okay, that's a good question. One of the businesses that I have used, definitely without a doubt, there is actually a business in Moxie that sells pressure washers. They sell pressure washers. I can actually go there and buy my pressure washers. I can buy pressure washing hoses, equipment. They actually repair pressure washers. So I can take it there and actually use that business to help support my business. And that's what I mean when I said it felt like I had a lot of partners help supporting my business. So for me, for what I do, they actually help me maintain my business. So it's been wonderful for me.
Awesome.
Definitely.
That is very cool that you were able to incorporate, because I mean, that's essentially, that equipment is the heart and soul of your operation. So very cool. And again, that's Brian Lodge from Red Truck Pressure Washing. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Aimee and Charlie for a minute. So you guys also, so Aimee, we've already talked about in the first segment, is very involved in the community. She helped with the Front Porch Project. Aimee, you also helped with a project showcasing businesses as well, right?
That's right.
What was that business project called?
The Storefront Project. It was an extension of the Front Porch Project.
Right. Excellent way of, well, first of all, excellent community-oriented Front Porch Project, which I was able to get my photo and my family's photo taken. Excellent way of just making you feel good in a cruddy situation. But the Storefront Project is cool too, because essentially I get to see businesses that maybe I had never encountered before, and I get to see the face, I get to see the front. So Aimee's definitely involved in the community. I know, Charlie, you do stuff with the community. Talk to me a little bit about Moxie, and is there ways that, and I'm not trying to blindside you guys with a question here, but is there ways that you guys locally give back to the community and businesses, or have I already touched on it with what Aimee was doing?
Oh, sure, Franz. I think one of the core things that we do is double down in our investment inside the community. You know, you mentioned Aimee's incredible storefront projects, you know, a few minutes ago, and sort of behind the scenes, making all that happen is Partners One and the ED, Pete Rizzo. You know, Pete really stepped up and cleared a lot from Aimee's plate and said, hey, you know, the pandemic's going on. Let's just go out there and bless as many small companies as we can. And so that's a unique partnership that exists between Moxie and Partners One, and Pete and Aimee really going out there and investing in the community in very tangible ways. So that's part of the best example.
Lest anybody is confused, what is the difference between Moxie and Partners One?
So
Or the connection?
There are 16 different distinct communities that make up the Moxie network today. And Partners One is the original community. The entire infrastructure for Moxie was birthed out of Partners One, which was started about 20 years ago. And so Partners One decided to stay focused on the Baton Rouge community, on East Baton Rouge Parish. And so the original founders started launching communities in Denham Springs and in Gonzales and West Baton Rouge, and eventually in Memphis and New Orleans and Monroe. And so Moxie is growing, but the genesis for the entire system was the original community here in Baton Rouge called Partners One.
So that begs another question. Let's say Brian gets a crazy bug and says, I want to start pressure washing in another Moxie community. Okay. Does his Moxie money translate from community to community? Is it the same Moxie dollar? Or is it a different system? I'm just curious about that.
Absolutely. One of our secret sauces to success is that Brian could take his Moxie credit card, and drive up to Memphis and grab a great steak dinner from the butcher shop just as easily as he could here in Baton Rouge. Sometimes we have furniture stores or giant outdoor stores that'll sell equipment and ship it down to Baton Rouge. As we grow, more and more business is happening across community lines. We see this when the hurricane hit Lake Charles. People around the communities donated Moxie dollars that could be sent into Lake Charles so they could buy things that they needed. We have nonprofits, and we have some businesses like Vicky's, where it's a consulting firm where her customers could be in Baton Rouge just as easy as they could be in Birmingham, Alabama, or Memphis, Tennessee. So yes, your Moxie dollars are good anywhere there's a Moxie community.
Okay. And is the Moxie network, for those, we got about 5 minutes left. If you're tuning into the Geaux Rouge Show, we're showcasing the Moxie community today. We had different businesses on. I got a question. So again, I'm curious about accessibility. So let's say going back to Bart hears this and is like, man, I can go global with my printing company. I can do anything, anywhere. If I'm Bart and I want to strategically target Moxie communities outside of this community, and Bart is a board member, so he probably already knows the answer to this. How would I go about researching other areas that are other communities? Same thing with Lindsey. Let's say Lindsey wants to start a furniture empire in Denham Springs and in Tennessee. How would she get accessibility to the other communities?
So the app is wonderful, and you can navigate and find out what businesses are on in what cities. I actually own another printing business in Gonzales, and it is involved in the Moxie community through that business. So yes, you can do that, and yes, people do that. So
it's as simple as using an app.
Correct.
Okay. So I like it. I like what I'm hearing here. And also I like the fact that what this also achieves is I like bringing different things together. I like the fact that I'm sitting on a radio show right now with Brian, who's a pressure washer, Bart, who's a printer. We had Vicky, who does social media, I guess, marketing. We have Lindsey, who is a furniture slinger, which I love. I mean, Brian, her dad is the namesake, but Lindsey runs the place, right? She's the brains behind the operation. I like the fact that you guys have all entered into this community, entered into this network, and what it is achieving is it's not just the exchange of goods and services for Moxie money, it's also the exchanging of business. Because like Brian suggested, he gets a referral, he does a good job from Moxie, and then the neighbors are like, man, that guy did a really good job. And the neighbors tell, hey, who'd you use? Oh, yeah. So it's a win-win across the board as far as I'm concerned. And, look, referrals, by the way, Brian, you probably agree with me, referrals are really the best. That's a positive conversion that works every time. So if you're tuning in, we got about 2 minutes left. I'm going to thank Charlie and Aimee for joining us with Moxie. Charlie, I see you at La Divina as much as I'm probably there, which is a good thing. La Divina Italian Restaurant is one of the show sponsors, also a Moxie business.
Absolutely.
That's my favorite coffee shop in Baton Rouge. There's a lot of good coffee shops in Baton Rouge, but that's where I like to go and vet. I shouldn't have told the world this because now if you want to find Franz Borchardt, he's at La Divina. But I get to see Charlie. In fact, one of my favorites was when the pandemic had started. Charlie was working to get masks out, which I thought was a wonderful thing. Aimee is doing some amazing stuff with the community. If you're tuning in, you've been listening to the Geaux Rouge Show. We've had Bart from American Printing. We had Lindsey from Brian's Furniture. We had Vicky from, Vicky. I wish everybody, Vicky's actually a very beautiful human being. I wish we could have seen her without the internet issues. Vicky is with Talent 360. And last but not least, we had Brian with Red Truck Pressure Washing. If you're tuning into the Geaux Rouge Show, definitely go to the Facebook page or website. I'll have information about these businesses. You can definitely also re-listen to the episode and get information. I'll make sure Aimee also gives me information that I can share. Give Moxie a chance. I think it's definitely, if you have a small business, it's definitely a way of developing your businesses, doing goods and services. You've been listening to the Geaux Rouge Show. This is Franz Borchardt. Again, www.geauxrouge.com. Brian Haldane is at the radio station. He's the brains behind this operation, folks. If you're listening, the only reason you're listening to any of this is because Brian Haldane is making this possible remotely. So we thank Brian Haldane. I'll actually be on Brian Haldane's show tomorrow morning for Legally Served, talking not about Baton Rouge, not about Geaux Rouge, but about law. So that's about it for this episode. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks.
Is where we awkwardly, okay, we're clear. So one more time, Aimee, Charlie, if I am a potential Moxie business, or if I just want to get more information, if I want to be a part of the cool club, if I want to be like Lindsey and I want to be a part of the cool club, how do I get information?
It's super simple. Just go to www.moxeyusa.com and you can search by community for. So there's just buttons all over the place so you can get more information and set up a meeting to talk to one of us.
Awesome. Awesome. Very friendly folks, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching on Facebook Live. And you know, I've looked at the list of businesses. It's pretty inclusive. And I think James Peck, by the way, just wrote, "I love Moxie." He used the heart emoji.
We love
Nice.
James.
I don't know who James Peck is, but shout out
He's
to
a
James
great
Peck.
photographer and videographer.
Ooh. Organizers. Do you have any organizers?
We do.
on Moxie?
It's called Amend. She's a personal organizer. She's excellent.
That was a test, Charlie. I just wanted to see if Aimee knew. That was a test. She passed. All right, so
You just
guys.
stump me. You can't stump Aimee.
That's okay.
She knows
That's okay.
everything.
So guys, thank you guys for all giving me more of your time than you should have. I definitely appreciate it. We are continuing to try to find topics and things in Baton Rouge that are just neat, that help businesses, help people. You guys fit the mold. I thank you. Definitely, if you need printing, consider Bart with American Printing. If you need pressure washing, consider Brian with Red Truck Pressure Washing. Man, it's so cool that you can buy your equipment from Moxie. That's awesome. And then, of course, if you need good furniture, if you don't want to be a bum like Franz, you need good furniture, you definitely want to check out Brian's Furniture. Guys, thank you guys so much. I'm going to close out Facebook Live.